Hello and welcome back to the channel, and we have another locomotive review. This time we've got the Bachmann branch line Ivatt Class 2 2MT. So what is there to tell you about this? So I went to my local emporium, if you like, Trains for You, and picked this up. So £123.20, so it's really quite expensive for the age of the model, really. This is a new version of the model, but I think the tooling has been around for quite a long time. So let's just have a quick look at the packaging then. So we have the fantastic Bachmann packaging with the slide out tray and the block of ice. So we do on the back have a little bit of a blurb. I'm talking to you upside down, so I'm going to read this while you're upside down. So 128 Ivatt 2MT Class 260 locomotives were built between December 1946 and September 1952. Entering service with the London, Midland and Scottish Railway, construction continued under British Railways after nationalisation in 1948. Light axle loadings allowed them to be used on branch line passenger and freight duties, and their almost enclosed cabs made them ideal for working tender first when no turning facilities existed. The class could be found at work on all but the southern region of British Railways. The introduction of diesel multiple units and branch line closures resulted in the class being withdrawn between 1961 and 1967, a year before the end of steam on British Railways. 7 locomotives have survived to work on heritage railways. So, yeah, there we are, that's the blurb. So, let's get it out the box, I suppose. So I actually got mine fitted in the shop with a Bachmann Easy Command 8-pin decoder. We will make a note of that for later. So here we have the sleeve is now off, so we've got the block of ice, and if I just slide that out, included is of course the breakdown of the components and the maintenance instructions. We also have the Collectors Club membership form. That's all for that, really. So we'll take this out of the block of ice, and with it I've already fitted these, but it came with the brake rigging, but it also has a spare drawbar for the tender, which is shorter than the one which is fitted to the locomotive, as well as some detailing parts including steps. So we have some steps there, vacuum pipes, etc. I've not bothered fitting those because the corners and things, and it's just not really worth it. They just end up falling off for me. So put that just to one side. So this actually keeps the loco really secure. So I'm just going to take that out and put that to one side. So you'll notice something quite interesting when I've taken this out of the box, and that it has this kind of plastic block which sits between the cab and the tender. It's not actually a detail part. I think it's just been placed there to hold everything together while it's in the packaging. So yeah, so these were obviously run by the LMS. This, I believe, is the post-war LMS livery. So what do we have though? So let's just look underneath. So you can see where I have fitted the brake rigging. Let me just see if I can bring that up closer to the camera. You can see where I've fitted the brake rigging. The DCC chip is in the tender, and you can see that there is the connecting plug. I'm not entirely convinced that those wires look all that brilliant, but hey ho. So just on the feel of it, the chassis is fairly heavy. In fact, it's I think the chassis itself is all cast metal, as well as the running boards on the loco. The tender is pretty much nearly all plastic, but that's not really too important. All of the traction is, of course, from the locomotive itself. The other thing which I need to bring to your attention is that it has wiper pickups on the driving wheels, but there are no pickups on the tender, which is curious because the chip is fitted in the tender and there is a wiring loom going to it. So why they've not bothered to fit pickups on there, I'm a little bit confused as to why they wouldn't bother, other than costing, of course. So I'm just going to bring back the parts, because yeah, so I think this is kind of the older, like I say, it's one of the Bachmann's older models, which has been updated just to include the DCC socket, but there's a few things which I'm going to bring up when I run the locomotive later. But to actually scrutinize the detail, so it is in a fairly basic livery, so, and he's never really got sort of anything particularly ornate. They never really were anything other than black. I think there was one in crimson though. If I bring this up, see if I can get that into focus, you can see there is some quite clear printing for like the builder's plate, and the number is quite well applied too. Now if I just also bring that into focus, I'm trying to be careful here with the plug because I really hate putting them back in. So the cab detail is really quite good on the loco side. On the tender side, not so much. It's a bit plastic fantastic, but I'm quite happy with that. That looks okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up some track and we'll have her running. Back in a mo. Okay, so I'm going to do an experiment here. I'm just going to try and get it to move away. So let's see how slowly I can get it to move. Yeah. So that is step one. Let me just bring it back. Step one again on the controls. You can see there is sort of a surging to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to back it up onto a train and see how it copes with that, really. Backing them out. Okay, Okay, so I've got a small rake of wagons. I'm just going to slowly bring the loco around. I am literally only on a tiny loop of track, so step one. And of course it didn't engage. That's not necessarily the loco's problem, but let's just couple them up and take it forward. Not very good. So I've actually sped it up now. And you can see that there is hesitation. So I've brought it up to 48 steps now, and it's still a little bit of surging, but it seems happier that way. Yeah, there's my collection of boxes for all this stuff. So we are back on the footstool because my normal board is currently in other use. Anyway, so you've seen it running now, and my thoughts are quite mixed on this really. The look of the locomotive is really good. It looks absolutely stunning. However, I don't know whether this is just my one or if it's common across this particular model, in that it doesn't really do slow speed running very well. It will sort of surge quite a bit, and the motor sounds quite loud and a bit grindy to me. That being said, once she's running, she will quite happily trundle along, but I think there's some improvements that could have been made, and particularly one of the improvements is the application of some pickups in the tender. For the price I paid, this is probably the big thing. Now, if it was a much cheaper model, I would have possibly forgiven a lot more of those issues, because in a similar mind, I have the Bachmann Standard 5, which is an absolutely fantastic runner. So I can't really understand where Bachmann have kind of got the mechanism on this one wrong. But other than that, I do think it looks really good. It does have sprung buffers, and it does have things like the NEM coupling pockets. It has been kind of modernized, so it's fairly straightforward to have it on a modern model railway. But there's just those couple of little running issues, which I'm not sure if this is going to improve over the time in which I have the model. If I run it more and more, is it just going to get better and better and better? Or have I perhaps got to do some tweaking for the chip? Because like I say, I bought this with the chip fitted. The shop actually fitted it for me, and I did watch it run in the shop, and I was quite happy with it. So I've got no qualms with Trends for You. I just think that this could have been improved upon, but I still enjoy the model. So take from that as you will, really. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment in the bottom there, and hopefully I'll be back with you with something else, I hope. Bye for now. Bye bye.